Hello everyone, this is Rifat Nadeem here, and today we have with us the business trainer and life coach Mr. Qaiser Ahmad Raja, and today we shall discuss with him the phenomenon of habit, how to change habits, how to develop new habits to get the desired results. First of all, Mr. Qaiser Ahmad Raja, thank you very much for giving us time.
Pleasure for being here.
And just the way I said, we want to talk about the phenomenon of habits. Please tell us, how can we develop new habits, constructive habits, and how can we get rid of the old habits that we do not want to repeat again and again in order to get the desired results?
I think the fundamentally important question here would be, what are the desired results? Because in the entire sequence, just like any journey, you plan the destination first and then you choose the path to get to the destination. So your desired outcomes is that ultimate destination that you want to achieve. Once you have validated those, these are the results I want to have in my life, then you've got to see what are the habits that are getting in the way. For example, in NLP, we have one of the techniques that we run. We ask the client to imagine yourself 5 years in the future. So take a mental leap, go in future, 5 years, maybe 10 years, be there, and then see what do you have with you. And then they come up with all sorts of different ideas, wonderful ideas. For example, now I can see that I'm married and I have a wife and I have a job and I have my business and so on and so forth. Once they've imagined all of that, you then ask them, don't come back yet. Just ask yourself, what were the habits you had to develop to get here, and what were the habits you had to leave to be able to get here.
Right.
And also, what were the connections you had to make? What were the connections you had to abandon? It's not a simple thing of you just literally, just like that, snap of the finger to get there.
Right.
It takes an effort.
Right.
So it's exactly the same thing that I'm going to advocate for here. That jump in the future, look at the results, make sure that you can see them. Once you can see them, then your future itself will tell you what are the habits that you need to develop.
Right.
So there can't be any hard and fast answer that is going to be universally applicable, given the fact that everyone is different, everyone has got a different idea of what they want to achieve in life. So look at the desired outcomes, and then your future itself will tell you the type of habits you need to develop.
Right. So does this mean that it's a technique or a process of visualization through which we tell them about the possibility of the new habits?
It's a powerful technique.
Right.
Because, look, I can explain things to you in many different ways.
Right.
Eventually, the only way they can make sense to you is either if you can see those really, or in your imagination, which is the visualization part.
Right.
Otherwise, they mean absolutely nothing to you. I mean, ask yourself, if you read a book in Mandarin language or in French or Spanish language, why it does not make any sense to you. But if you read the same story in English or in Urdu, why does it make sense to you? The reason it does is because you are connected with the language, you can comprehend it, you can understand it, and therefore whatever is written there, you can visualize that in your head. So visualization is the ultimate key. You need to have that. And like I said, that because everyone is different, therefore every single person will have their own idea of the future, what they want to achieve, and it is the future itself that will tell them that if you want to get to this place, then you have to develop X amount of habits. You have to delete X amount of habits and get rid of them in your life. And that's probably arguably one of the best ways of going about it.
Right. So for instance, if you have to teach somebody or train somebody about how to develop the habit of managing time properly,
Yeah.
what are maybe 1 to 2 basic techniques that you think are extremely productive in this regard?
Look, there are branch matters and the root matters, so to speak. The way we put them in order is that you have certain root problems or the root causes, and you have the branch problems of the root or the branch results. Always look at those root problems, the root reasons, because that one reason will have X amount of ramifications, things that will come from it. if you want to manage your time, always look at and spend your time on those routes. If I can put it this way to you, let us say that you want to become a successful businessman. What does it take for you to become a successful businessman? Education, probably. I mean, not every businessman is well educated. That's one thing. But let's count that. Okay, for the sake of the argument. The next thing, networking. Next thing, money. Then ask yourself, if I am to get one of these, what are the other two things that I can get from it? Right. The answer has to be networking, because if you have a good network, you can derive money from that network. At the same time, the education that you might not have, you can get that education from the network that you have. So that becomes the route. So if you place maximum of your time on this route, all the branches that emanate from it, automatically they will be fruitful to you. So always look at that root problem or the root reason that can propel you in the future a lot faster than anything else. If you can spend your time on those, there should not be any reason for you not to go far.
So just to encourage our viewers, one last question, one small question. So it is true that we can develop new habits and we can replace old habits with new ones, right?
Yeah. Look, probably one of the best ways of telling someone not to give a long answer is by saying, look, I have a short question. So yes, you have a short question, and I will do my best to keep it as short. Yes, absolutely, you can develop new habits, because habits are part of who you are. One argument made in the realm of psychology is that to be able to develop new habits, you have to develop a new personality, right? Not just the habits.
True.
I mean, it's true that if you change small habits, you can make some profound changes to your existing personality. But imagine if you can develop a new personality, that will give rise to new habits, because they are intertwined. You cannot dislink them, you cannot de-link them. They are intermingled together. So yes, absolutely, you can develop a new personality, and as a consequence of that, you can develop new habits.
With that, we come to the end of this little talk. Thank you very much for taking out time and talking about the phenomenon.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you very much. Viewers, this was Qaiser Ahmad Raja, the life trainer, the business coach. You were listening to him about the phenomenon of habit, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much.